What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some more Dragon Ball FighterZ for y'all. So today I wanted to talk about a more controversial character in the game. A lot of people dislike this character in tournaments. He's not that common, but he does have a presence, and I do think he's a really good character in this game. I rated him pretty highly in my tier list. This is Vegito. A wise man told me that Vegito players don't block. Another wise man told me this character had no mix-ups. Another wise man told me that this character was not so great. Maybe that guy was not so wise though. But let's break this character down a little bit. We could talk about his neutral, his rep, his offense, his defense, and everything in between.
Hi, this is Gilbert Gottfried. This is about Arc-size game legend LordKnight. Check into it and subscribe it. And you can ask all the people who like it. Do it now!
Okay, so Vegito has had a pretty interesting reputation in this game since he dropped. As you all recall, he dropped with Zamasu back in Season 1. And when the two characters dropped, people were actually more hyped for Zamasu than Vegito. You know, Zamasu has the flight. Everyone's like, oh my god, Magneto's coming. He had the cool flight combos, etc. Vegito, at this time, even more, people were really hard on like high-low mix-up. Like if you didn't have a high-low mix-up blatantly because you don't have a 2-0 low, the character is pretty much dismissed. And as we all know, Vegito does not have that. He's pretty unpopular online because he has a lot of buttons, he has a lot of extra stuff for offense, but in tournaments he was not that common. Usually each region has only like a handful or maybe less of Vegito players at a competitive level. If we're talking about last season, we do have like GT Goku, Kid Buu, like those type of teams that people are trying to build and win with. So even though he was strong last season as well, he's not as popular. So the biggest actual thing about Vegito is his neutral game. So he has a lot of really good things going for him here. Of course, he has buttons that are very large and active. We all know about this. Even though the weakness is that he is just standing there kind of whiffing kicks. If you clash with it, it's pretty much over, and it's huge. And it's very easy to confirm the situation with because it's multiple hits. So anti-air wise, he has a pretty good spread. I mean, his 2H actually goes pretty high in the air. He has his 2S here, which hits at a pretty nice angle. And he has up grabs, which are my favorite. I love moves like this to just snatch people out of the air. He's also pretty good at meeting people air to air too. This move is really big, and this move is really big. So the character is also very mobile as well. He's got legs, which are effectively -5. Like this says -4, but he has to land on the ground. It travels a decent amount. The EX version is really fast, really fast, and travels pretty far. It travels from like here. So if you're in range of the first one to hit, it's ridiculously fast, which is nice. And he has them in the air for air mobility as well, which is great. For stalling, he does have his jump too heavy, which is like okay. You know, it gets the job done, but legs is usually a better choice. But he also has up grabs, which is kind of nice. And the true GOAT, his JS, which we have seen this many times. It's a great angle. It stops him immediately. It's really easy to hit confirm as well. So, of course, the last thing is his 236S. This move covers a really good angle. He could do it in the air and on the ground. You can super dash it, but since he has an air level 3, as long as you do it early enough, you can cancel into it and get a really high return. This move shuts down a bunch of characters like Ginyu. Any character that has to like set up their neutral, this move shuts down. And his ground buttons are so good, and he can get over to you so fast that if you're sitting there waiting for this, he can just run over. He can run over with legs plus assist. He can do a bunch of things to get over to you if you're scared of this. So as you can see, he's definitely a neutral monster, and his assists also support this. His A assist was the 236S I talked about before. So this assist has been pretty controversial. A lot of people thought it was bad for a long time. I thought it was good, very good for a long time. Of course, I like the angle always and the screen control. In Dragon Ball, neutral is like one of the most important things. So having something like this to protect you is really nice. But in this season, they also addressed the main complaint that a lot of people had, which was it's hard to hit confirm out of, which is understandable because, like, say we have Trunks here. Trunks changed the feature, had the same issue in Season 1, where, yeah, it's a huge assist, an amazing assist for the sake of controlling space, but it's hard to hit confirm. Now, his B assist is this. It's a block stun assist. It's pretty good, actually. You get really good mix-ups off it. Decent speed as well. It's a little bit slower than a beam. It doesn't travel like track that far or travel very far. It only goes half screen, but most of the block stun assists in the game are like this. There are only a couple of exceptions that work differently. Things like Bardock B or like Yamcha A fall into that group. Now his C assist I really like. It's functionally an anti-air assist, but because it tracks, the tracking is really good. You basically get to catch them like this. It's always gonna go like right above them. It definitely forces them to the ground as well. You have a decent amount of frame advantage. You can get above people and call it and fall down safely. It's pretty flexible. The A and C assist are really good neutral support, while the B one is like an okay neutral support, but it's pretty there for mix-up. So pressure. So this is a weird one because again, like I said earlier in the video, most people discounted this character because he doesn't have a fast low. So he's not like super good at high-low mix-ups. Actually, he's pretty bad at it overall. Even in prior versions of the game, he had like your standard fuzzy setups on tall characters, but if you didn't set them up a certain way, they weren't like actually 50-50s. It was just you had to watch out for the overhead. His thing is that his pressure, his actual offense, like block strength offense, is really good. He has a bunch of extra moves he has compared to other characters, and he has moves with special properties to push his offense as well. So there's a couple of reasons why his pressure feels so much longer than everyone else's. First of all his moves are so like dramatic. So this is just his 5L. So they have enough time to do that and then gradually just push their way forward. Also, a lot of his moves advance as well. So he has like the 5M that advances, the 2M that advances, the 5H that advances. He has a 6S that you could get pushed into, the 2L that advances. So all his moves advance. His 2L also has really important special properties that he can use to mess with you. So there's two main things you got to know about it. One is that it jails into Vanish. Of course, it's a really slow move. It's 20 frames, so I'm not gonna say there's no way to jail into it. Of course, if you make them block and move in the air, you can jail into it, but for the most part there's always going to be a gap, so it jails into Vanish like that. But the other thing is that it's airborne, so he can use it offensively to either beat your Dragon Rush tech or hit you for doing a Dragon Rush. So in this example, I'm gonna have Trunks here. He's going to do a reversal 2L in a Dragon Rush situation, which will be here, and I'm gonna combo him because my 2L will go over his. The Vegito 2L does less damage than other mediums, so it does like a little bit less, but it scales as medium. So if you get hit by it, you are going to take a lot of damage. So similarly, if you tech Dragon Rush with Dragon Rush, his 2L will go over you as long as you time it the right way. Another unique thing about his pressure that makes it a little hard to deal with is how his 2L works. So functionally, you could think of the 2L as like a medium move. So he gets medium chains into it, if that makes sense. So for example, let's say I'm Trunks here. I can't do 5LL 2L. I can't do 5M 2L, but Vegito can do these things. And finally, he has a lot of safe frame data. I talked about this in my How to Fight Bardock video as well, because one of the things that's really good about Bardock is that a ton of his moves are all safe on block. Vegito also has this. So this is safe. This is 5 -5. This is also -5. This is -5, and this is -5. On top of his Ki Blast being safe as well. So he has a lot of ways to stay safe on you, as well as in this version of the game, since it's harder to regenerate your assists, it benefits him right now because he's able to make you guess a little bit more on his pressure and stay in. So again, his thing has never been like mix-up. It's mostly about like conditioning, and he has higher return than other characters for hitting you for trying to get out or trying to tech a Dragon Rush. Especially since, again, this is a medium starter, so even though the damage is a little bit lower than actual medium moves, he gets a combo that's not scaled, which is really good. His damage is really high, and his meter gain was really good. I think they've been nerfing this actually, but still it does stand out compared to other characters. Still, he has a lot of these and these and these in his combos, so he builds a lot of meters still, even if it's been nerfed overall since season 1. He is like a good character that tournament players don't like playing because the main thing about him is that you have to condition them, and this is the thing that I said was a problem for myself. This is the original reason why I dropped Bardock in Season 2. It's, do you think you're smart enough and good enough to know how this person is going to defend against this system mechanic in 2 games? My answer is no, I don't think so. I think it would be easier for me to 50-50 them, so I pick characters to have like high-low 50-50s instead. This is what most players are thinking, even if like they haven't had that discussion with themselves. Just by like picking Kibu or something, you're like, okay, I recognize this is an easy way to open people up, so I'm going to do that. It's also not to say that he doesn't have ways of opening people up with like mix-ups. Like he can do like your standard left right like cross up type of things. If you have enough blocks, so you can even try to do things like force them to stand, so you can get a quick IED into M and stuff like that. But for the most part, you're not picking him because you want to hit them with like sick high-lows or sick cross-ups or something. You're mostly picking him for his really good neutral game and his really good pressure game and the return you get for hitting these things, because he does get good damage, good corner carry, good meter build. Alright, so hopefully that made sense. So I do think he's a good character. It makes a lot of sense to me why he's not popular on a tournament perspective though. Despite these things too, like I do think he is a stronger online character. It does make sense that you see him a lot, and he's a cool character. Like I think he's cool. I think he's fun. I'm sure there are people who are also like, yo, why didn't you talk about certain things like his sick calendar or something? But I don't think anyone looks at Vegito and I'm like, I'm going to pick him because he has this counter that I can use. You know, there are definitely more thinking about the offense, especially the blocks on offense, his neutral, and how much damage and meter he can build, in my opinion. As usual, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.